we're excited to have on our next guest, Amy Nederlander. She is the founder and president for Lfe Leaders, an organization that empowers youth to empower their future. I absolutely love that. Amy, it's so great to have you with us. How are you today?
Hi, thank you very much. I'm great. Thank you for having me on.
Tell us more about Lfe Leaders and why you decided to organize or come up with this organization.
Well, I had the idea of working with youth in Detroit when I was a lot younger, a kid actually. I am a big believer in the importance and the power of what people of all ages have to say, and also direct relationships. And I don't know. So finally, I was able to, you know, make this happen. And Lfe Leaders is a youth leadership, workforce, and career development organization. It's an experience based curriculum where Detroit is our classroom. And so our curriculum is highlighted with a lot of field trips and roundtable discussions and guest speakers with leaders in the community. So that as this youth are building their interpersonal and professional skills, they're understanding Detroit and the opportunity that there is, and also have direct access to building relationships and participating in the opportunity.
What's been the response from the kids in Detroit? How have they reacted to this program?
It's been wonderful. It's been really, really wonderful. We became a nonprofit in 2019, and the response, for example, after our first summer program, was the students asked, they said, why don't we know this information? And our friends know this. I mean, we go on tours of Detroit, we go to the Historical Museum, members of the mayor's team present the growth plan that includes the entire city and the neighborhoods. And so there's a lot of different things that the students are exposed to that they really don't learn about in school or might not be aware of in their communities, the macro um, growth plans and opportunities. And so we're really an organization about collaboration in the community. And so we said, all right, well, let's get as many of your youth and peers and friends in the room as possible with the people that you're meeting with. And so that's how we came up with the Detroit Youth Summit Conference. And it's part of the curriculum, producing it and hosting it. And so the guest panelists and breakout rooms, and we have an opportunity fair. It's all hosted and moderated by the students.
So, with this, we do know
Right.
that this year, a little bit different than years past. Do you have to do it virtually or are you going to try to do it in person?
Now, actually, it's our second virtual conference. Our first conference was the summer of 2019, hosted by the Mike Ilitch School of Business, who continues to be our partner. But last year was virtual, and it was pretty spectacular. We got great feedback from the panelists and also from the students. And so, unfortunately, we have to do it virtual again this year. Next year, I am confident it will be in person, right? The power of positive thought, and probably end up being a hybrid event because we want to reach as many youth as possible.
Yeah, and with that, speaking of that, have you been able to reach more people and also maybe bring in guest speakers that you wouldn't be able to if it was in person?
Probably. It's really, and I say probably because I think of one of our guests at the conference last year was Lieutenant Governor Garland Kilcrest, who was hosted in a one-on-one discussion with one of our students. And would he have been able to make it to Detroit from Lansing? I don't know. I think so because, but he had no problem making it virtually. The support from the community is extraordinary. We work closely with the mayor's office and the Detroit Regional Chamber and other community and business leaders. So,
Amy, I know a big part of this is really, empowering the kids and allowing them to see the possibilities in the world. What has, like, I know it's still somewhat new of a program, but for some of the students that have already gone through it, has it been life changing for them?
uh, I don't like to speak on behalf of anybody, but the feedback has been extraordinary. And the students It's interesting. I'll tell you that we're a client, a pro bono client of donor advertising, and one of the things that they did for us was a brand world analysis where they spoke to the community about our work. So students, parents, and partners, and just who are we in the community? And we didn't write any of it. And they presented it to us virtually, and our students were included in that presentation. And at the end, when they present the brand ambition, it's to stop opportunity from being a privilege, and that Life Leaders provides those on ramps to opportunity. And I will tell you that the response that the students had to people at donor advertising was some of the kids were teary eyed, but they said they felt heard,
Hmm.
and that they were really finally feeling that their voice mattered and that people wanted to hear what they had to say because of the leaders that we were connecting with them and the follow-up that was provided, because they don't just meet with the leaders, but there's follow-up meetings if they want to have them. The students write professional emails, they make professional phone calls, they research whoever it is that they're meeting with so that they can prepare their questions. So without going through other endorsements, I thought that that really spoke to that, and that the students come back year after year. And then when they graduate and go off to college, they're still involved with us, networking for jobs or internships. So it's really a very special community that we've started.
This is such a great program. And when you can give the teens and the kids a voice, they amaze us because there's so much possibility if we
Yeah.
just take off the blinders and open them up to the worlds beyond the world that they live in. So tell us more about the Youth Summit. I know it's going to be happening in August.
Right. It's a 2 day virtual event, and we did that so that it's 2 half days to try to avoid Zoom fatigue. And each year, the conference is told through the lens of current events, and where Detroit youth and leaders get to build Detroit together. And so this year, well, each year the conference, the format is very similar in that there's two panel discussions, then there's breakout rooms, and then there's an opportunity fair, which is much like a job fair, but there's smaller breakout rooms and much more than just jobs. There's breakout rooms in access to free education, or or last year we had a breakout room in voting in the census, and this year's conference we're really highlighting access to mental and physical health. Mental health is a big conversation, and is being built as a pillar of our programming in partnership with Priority Health and with Beaumont Hospital and Black Family Development. But the first panel is Then Until Now. It's updates on the city's growth. And this year we're including health in that, but guest speakers include Dr. Beatty, who's the superintendent, Anika Goss, who's the CEO of Detroit Future City, and Denise Fair, who is the Chief Public Health Officer for the city of Detroit. And so, in addition to that, we've got a panel that of youth and youth activism at different organizations that it's really exciting to hear their voice. And then we have a really exciting panel that is talking about opportunities in the workforce, redefining opportunities in the workforce. The subtitle of this year's conference is Defining the New Normal. And, we really have a lot to look at coming out of COVID and the social justice movement, and how so many different things are impacted. And so this particular panel, we've got three people on it. We've got Jeff Donofrio, who's the CEO of Michigan Business Leaders. Then we also have Nicole Sherrard Freeman, who is head of workforce development, Detroit at Work in the mayor's office. And we also have Joshua Edmonds, who's the director of digital inclusion in the mayor's office. And this, we're talking about Michigan as, it's a goal for Michigan to be a top 10 state to work in. And what does that mean? And what direction are they moving in? And the coordination with the city of Detroit, and the overall objective of eradicating the digital divide, and how digital access and technology, the access to it and the training in it, is supported as technology becomes a much more important industry in the city of Detroit and the state of Michigan. So it's an exciting conversation.
It's these kids are so lucky to have access to some of the members of your panel to be able to have these conversations, and hopefully they feel comfortable enough to have them in an open and honest dialogue as well.
Well, it's exciting because when the program first started, it was like, why are they meeting with us? And I'm like, because they care. And it's like, why do they keep coming back? And I said, because they care and they're really interested in what you have to say. And now they just believe it. It's like, wow, they really want to meet with us. My voice matters, because there's follow-up meetings. And we're really lucky in the state of Michigan, the city of Detroit. There is a very keen and real interest in intergenerational conversations and input on what is happening, and supporting the youth, because the youth are the future leaders. And so they need to be exposed to what's going on now so that they can plan their futures accordingly. And it's really exciting. So we don't have to generate that confidence anymore in our conference, because the energy is there with the youth who keep coming back, and the word of mouth about what the event is.
And it's allowing the teens to not only realize that they are our future, but also, just because sometimes you grow up in certain neighborhoods or certain zip codes, your voice doesn't matter any less than anyone else's. It's just having the courage and the confidence to stand up and use that voice.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And an important part of our program, you mentioned neighborhoods, is that part of our curriculum is looking at the demographic maps of Detroit, looking at the 200 plus neighborhoods of Detroit, the scale of Detroit, and understanding how the population distribution, so that they can really understand the physical as a, in addition to the physical opportunities, in addition to the opportunities in labor and education.
So with that, we're speaking with Amy Nederlander. She is the founder of Lfe Leaders. And Amy, if I can ask you, who qualifies to take part in this conference?
It's for youth ages 14 to 24, and all you need to do is register.
So is it only open to Detroit students or Detroit residents, or is this a regional event?
It's really a Detroit event. We're really hyper focused on Detroit and Detroit opportunity. We do have some people who have registered who are out of town, who live in Detroit, who are, of the age group, but they want to know what's going on. So you can register for anywhere, but it's really, the opportunity fair is about jobs and opportunity in Detroit. The leaders are from the state, but with a focus on Detroit and how that fits into the big picture.
So Amy, where do you hope to take this program next?
Well,
You're like, we're still trying to navigate where we are right now. A pandemic kind of throws a wrench into some plans, huh?
You know what it did? It accelerated our business plan, and we became fully virtual. So it was an exciting time in many ways. But the reason that I paused is there's a lot of interest in other cities in the program, and also for the Youth Summit Conference. There's opportunity possibly for it to even be a template for a state conference, one step at a time. We've been focused on Detroit. We want this program, as it expands, to come from Detroit. It's Detroit born and bred, and has the grit and the gumption and the tenacity and and a flair, the Detroit flair.
Well, I know the kids, you were definitely their superhero when you were able to put them in contact with the producer of Hamilton. And that really put your program on the map. What was that like? I mean, we know your family comes from a theater background, but to have those connections and to open up that world to Detroit residents must have been so rewarding for you.
It was, on so many different levels. We were very, very fortunate that right after we became a nonprofit, Hamilton was coming to the Fisher Theater, because the story of Hamilton and the message of Hamilton is our program, right? And so we had a very large group. We had a group of 600 people one evening, and the event was co-produced by our students, and the students knew every person that was in that room. They had researched them, our sponsors. They were prepared for networking. Our students all across the board always have, we give them business cards in their preparation for interpersonal and professional skill development and networking. But a lot of great meetings came out of that. And just from the audience members connecting and wanting to support the interests of the youth. But the overall event, it was extraordinary. We had a strolling dinner in the lobby where the students spoke. They got up on the podium and they spoke to 600 people in the lobby of the Fisher Building. And getting to meet Jeffrey, and also Jeffrey Sellers, the producer who came in, and Tommy Kail, the director, also came in for a talk back with the cast. It was exciting. It was exciting.
I know that you have a lot of life experience, but what has this organization and these kids taught you?
To walk the talk. When I feel, when they ask me something and I go, okay, I have to do that. I have to be fearless. No is only an answer, and it usually doesn't mean stop. It means pivot, right? And so it's taught me to walk the talk with a lot more authority, because I got to deliver for the kids. When they ask, I got to do it.
And that is motivation, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Well, Amy, we so appreciate your time today. If people want to learn more information, where can they do so?
Well, at our website, which is behind me some way, it's fueledbylife.org. And on our website is our telephone number. And so you can email us, call directly. We would love to hear from anybody who would like to get involved as a mentor, a guest speaker, support us with sponsorships, donations. We are a nonprofit, and we have exciting growth in front of us. So thank you for asking that question.
That's so great. Oh, do you know Dr. Barry or Pastor Barry Randolph of Church of Messiah?
Oh, not personally.
I need to hook you two up. Talk about
Wonderful.
connections. Like, the world's about connections,
Yeah.
and he's doing this in a small scale in his neighborhood. But I feel like the two of you could do
Yeah.
more great things together, because it's all about the kids and empowering the
Yes.
kids. That's the important part of all of this. So it's
Well,
been.
I'm going to hold you to that. So thank you.
I will. So walk the talk, or talk the walk
the
the
talk.
talk.
There you go.
Walk, talk.
There you go.
I'll get your email, and I'll email you his contact information, and I'll do
Great.
the same for him as well, because I think the two of you would really get along well.
Wonderful. I look forward to it.
Well, it's been so great having you. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.